everything on the table. Nice into 15. Oh, and very late.
Attenzione, curva Stries, curva terza, curva setto, prima curva del labirinto, seconda, terza curva del labirinto, curva Belvedere.
Buongiorno, benvenuti at Cortina d'Ampezzo. We are in the Dolomites in the venue for the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. It is the first World Cup campaign here since 2008. And welcome back to the action with men's bobsleigh starting its season here in Cortina. Now, just looking at some of the stats from the last race, 2008, Simone Battato of Italy was the winner on the old track. But this new track, Greg, is a very different beast to most that we slide on anywhere else.
Yeah, no, honestly, Martin, it's not just great being in the commentary box with you as always, but actually to be in Cortina doing this is extraordinary. The speed they've got this track up in the end is amazing. And we're seeing these top few corners here. Here's corner 4. Keep an eye on that one. Late high pressure. We're going to see people hitting the roof, and that sets up this first labyrinth, which is, we've seen even in the skeleton, in the monobob. You make mistakes at the top, it's really hurting you down here. And as we come into the second labyrinth as well, particularly this K2, corner 9, they get pushed away here. And this, in the 4-man, you feel airborne. So keep an eye on that tomorrow as well. Coming down into sort of Belvedere and Bandillon, which Graham Richardson assures me used to be called Bandillon, because there was a few accidents down there into this chicane, and now the challenging bit for these pilots into Antelau and Cristallo. And at the bottom here, Martin, again, you're going to see speed edging away. If you see too messy down there, it's slightly uphill through Arrivo into the finish line, but we're going to see absolute speed graveyards all the way down here. So, yeah, a challenging proposition for the pilots.
You say slightly uphill. Quite surprising when you do your first track walk. It's really steep uphill.
Yeah, I was trying to be positive.
Last couple of corners. No, but it is. If you don't have the speed there, or if you touch the wall, it's going to go away.
Absolutely, yep.
So the romantically named by the IOC Cortina Sliding Centre, Eugenio Monti Sliding Centre. It is the Pista Olimpica Eugenio Monti. Eugenio Monti, Italy's most famous world and Olympic champion bobsledder. And this, just looking at the entry list and thinking about it this week coming into these games, make a point of seeing as much of this season as you can, because we are going to get a massive turnover in athletes after the games. This will be the last time we see probably the greatest bobsledder of all time, Francesco Friedrich, sliding in a World Cup season. Chances of him going on, probably zero. And even, you know, the likes of Johannes Lochner. Is Brad Hall going to go on again? What about Adam Amor? Probably will. But there are an awful lot of athletes who are now in their third Olympic cycle, you know, in their early to mid-30s, and looking at going on until you're knocking on the door of 40 in France in 4 years' time is a little bit unlikely. But that's all ahead of us. So let's take a look at our entry list. And it's a whopping entry list. Actually, the last two-man race here in the World Cup had 38 starters. We got 32. Yeah. I know. 32. I don't know how many didn't have to visit hospital during the course of the week, but 32 starters here. So immediately, if you're outside the top 20 from Taylor Austin of Canada on down, you know, almost half the field aren't going to get a second heat. So you're looking at 12 sleds not getting a second heat.
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary, and you know, the biggest learning curve as well. This is the test event, the test track, but people aren't going to be concerned necessarily about winning here. They want to be learning.
First sled on ice. Start record, track record coming up for Matej Behunek and Michal Dobesh of the Czech Republic. 5:07 is the start record. It's the first official race on the track, and so everything is brand new.
So you see there, we took that early tap. Coming to that corner, watch corner 4 here. Woo! Just grazes the top, but he's come away from it relatively clean. So always an interesting proposition with the Czechs as well, in a real kind of rebuild program. They're coached by Dominik Dvořák now, legendary Czech pilot, and there's a race within a race here with Behunek and Jakub Prochaska, who'll be later in the field. But keeping it honest here, he just needs to keep this straight out of these little turns and stuff. We're saying, Martin, this track has been built perfectly for brakemen because it's very easy on the body, but it's technical for the pilots. So we're going to see a lot of mistakes made today. So whatever we're seeing here, you're going to see other people doing the same thing.
And worse and better. And the drivers are really liking this because it is very hard to unlock the secrets of this track. There are so many potential disaster zones. 56.81 is the first track record here. So again, that's unlikely to last, although he gets the #1 start draw. There will be potentially quicker sleds coming down. And the key here today, this weekend, and especially doubly in the games, is consistency, not making mistakes, not necessarily being the outright fastest on every run, but being clean.
You've got to be clean across the top. And again, so Matty's just kept it off the woodwork there, but you see we set into a skid on the way out. That's what these guys are going to be looking to avoid. But a great start for the guys. 56.8, that's swift. So the ice is moving well here. We were at an international training week last week. We haven't hit those sorts of speeds. Well, the Germans have, but well, this would be a fascinating proposition.
And the temperature's really plunged since last week. I mean, even since the beginning of the week, where it was +2 or 3, it's now -4 or 5. So the ice is cold and hard and fast.
Keep your eye on this one. We've got some cracking athletes here. Big Jelen Francic, all 6'7" of him on the back. Part of the brothers Francic. Dave, a 110-meter hurdler in the front seat. What do we got here? Sub 487. That's a stonker. Well done, Helen. Great job. Jelen. He hates when I call him Helen. So he's taking that tap there, Dave. He's keeping that clean. Now watch his entry into 4 here. So double pressure around corner 3. Nicely done, Dave. Good work, mate.
Yeah, nice exit. We saw in the monobob race, a tap is less injurious than a skid.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Instead of trying to steer out of it, just take the hit and yeah, it absorbs less of the energy of the sled, it seems.
Yeah, Brad did give me some information about corner 4 there, but I've forgotten it. So I'll have to give him a text after the race and see what is the nuance there. But
half a second up for Dave Vesseling.
This is a good drive by Dave. Shoots
Really
the chicane.
nice.
Great job, buddy.
And down into the lower corners, Tofana, named after the mountains across the valley, and Ampezzo. That's the basin that Cortina sits in.
There we go. How about that?
56.37.
That was an excellent run, Dave. We're going to have other sleds come flying down here. We're going to see some big times, but Dave can be really pleased with that. That was a barnstorming drive and a cracking push from the big lad on the back. Well done,
Really
Jelen.
smooth, no skids. And actually, he dealt with the first couple of corners, Strias Verzi and Intercento, really well. This is up into Primo Labyrinthi, turn 4, as you new boys would have it.
Look how close that is to the wood. That's runner damaging territory, but comes out beautifully straight.
That's where the performance is, isn't it? Right at the extremes of everything, if you like. So, didn't have to haul it off K2 too much. And this is the little straight down to Antelau.
There's Jelen there. Recently engaged. Hopefully his partner Angie's watching from home.
Recently engaged? Has he finished his exams? Has he left school yet?
They're doing it younger now, Martin, apparently.
Martin Krantz, I know. Martin Krantz and Tim Kessler for Liechtenstein. Now, one of the smaller nations. We've got a couple of very small nations coming later in the field as well. Martin Krantz with a couple of years of World Cup experience behind him. 5:02.
Decent getaway for the boys. Tim Kessler on the back. He's got a background in athletics. Wanted me to say thank you for his to his coach, Nino Vogel. Nino Vogel, who's really backed him, and his parents who have really supported him. We know how important family and supportive coaches are in this sport. It's a tough game. Martin just getting away with that one out of 4.
Yeah, tiny skid, not too much damage done. And then down out of the labyrinth into Belvedere Bandion.
It's not bad from Martin. We know they're a smaller nation, but Martin's got a real handy set of hands. I'm not working my wordplay there, but good set of hands in the pilot here. He's a good driver. We've seen him outdrive his start frequently.
Decent speed. How close will
Number
he be?
speed.
He'll be in second ahead of Matej Bohenek of the Czech Republic, and only just behind them on the start. In fact, they were just ahead of the Czechs on the start. So across the line, 56.75.
Okay.
And this is
Good
all
job.
about whether or not you make the second heat. So right now, starting 1, 2, 3, you're sort of not really under that pressure, except there are 32 sleds, and 12 of you don't get a second run. And it's not always the last 12, because the first 3 sleds are outside the top 10 in the regular World Cup standings anyway.
No, absolutely. I think we're going to see some real tight pockets of racing all the way down the field here. And hey, Martin, look at that, 81.6 miles per hour. So far the top speed. I think he'll be proud of that.
Yep. Always good-looking kit. They're well turned out. They don't have a lot of strength in depth. It's not the biggest team, but Liechtenstein battling proudly.
Well done, Martin. Good
Yep.
job, bub.
Starting to learn his trade. So now we do move into the top 10 sleds
go.
from last year, and we hit straight up with Team USA. Frank Del Duca with Josh Williamson behind him. Again, using the sleds. The guy in the back in the beanie, Mark, their sled builder.
So we're going to see a big push here. Big Chuck's healing from a concussion, so Josh has come in for him. Josh is an astonishing athlete. These are two of the nicest guys in the sport as well. 489. That's a hell of a push. You can't help but root for these guys. Frankie is just, he's the best. He's a really, really top guy. Competitor, decent guy, and we can't root enough for these guys.
You'll see that all the US sleds are black with orange runner shoes, and that's a little nod to Steve Holcomb, whose night train went into the Olympic Games with orange runner shoes.
So we see a few little mistakes from Frank there, a few inopportune taps. He's keeping it straight. The kit, they're in still #1 speed. The two-man sled program that they've been taking on has been really fruitful for these guys. I think they're confident in the two-man. They've got great pushes. See a bit of a skid down the chicanes, gone back to third best speed. It shows the quality of Dave's run.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Esling had a really good run. Frank Del Duca in the green and across the line, new track record. Now, despite that skid, he really accelerated down at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's Chris Folk, the coach. I thought there was Mark Vandenberg at the back in the hat. Mark, the designer of these sleds. They've got new frames, but the same cowls that they used last year on the sled. Tuffy Latour there in the beanie hat, the head of the US program. Follow him on Instagram if you want to see what the old gnarly track here used to look like. He's putting up lots of video.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, like I said, this track has been built with the brakeman in mind, I think. It's a lot softer on the body. You can see the technical challenges for the pilots. We're seeing just little mistakes, little messy bits, but hey, you've seen the quality of this equipment, the quality of the boys' push, and the quality of Frank's drive. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how deep into the 55s we go today, because you fancy the Germans to dip under 56.
Yeah. Frank,
good job, Josh.
Leader is Frank Del Duca. Next up, Cedric Follador and Omar Fergele. First of our Swiss sleds.
501 getaway. You'd have wanted the boys to get under 5 there. Because I'll tell you what, Ceddy's been flying in training. The Swiss have really, really been putting the cat amongst the pigeons. I've seen some great speeds out of them. Cedric's been driving fantastically. See how he comes out of 4. Nicely done.
Well, Switzerland's Mel Hasler led the monobob race after the first heat by 100.
Gorgeous drive, yeah.
A beautiful drive.
#1 speeds here from Ceddy.
Now, we talked a little bit about the monobobs are using much thinner runners, narrower runners than they normally would to give the athlete the control. And that might be the case here for the two-man sleds as well. Especially when you're learning and you don't have that instinct of the track yet.
Yeah.
This is, again, a nice, clean-looking run.
He's doing fabulously here, Cedric. This is where you can see. So 1500s back, that was a beautiful drive. But this is where the start comes in. This is where that separates you. So for the people at home watching who are still learning about our sport, learning what's going on, the start is so crucial. You have to give your pilot the velocity. That's not that Omar's done a bad job. It just shows you the quality of Frank's job, of Josh's job. You know, our job is to get that thing going as fast as possible, because you can't find speed in the track. You only lose it. You know, so you have to give them everything you got at the start.
Well, it's a good drive. 1200s back at the start. Bobsleigh maths say you should be 3600s away at the bottom. He only lost 300s more in the entire run to Frank Del Duca. Came off a little tidier. Frank had to really haul the sled out of K2 there and didn't take as big a hit on the wall, and that's the difference. He didn't wipe quite so much speed away heading down into Antelau and Cristallo. Now, next up, the first of our Latvian trio, and this is their most experienced driver, Jekabs Kalenda. Arnis Bebris behind him.
Ooh, I love those ice spikes as well. You know, I feel like I missed the boat here, Martin. They're all converting track and field spikes. I'm still using those dusty old bobsleigh ones. Okay, big pushers coming now. Arnis Bebris in the back. He's another big Latvian lad. 492, great getaway. Ooh, a back end just flipped out round corner 2.
Yeah, brought it down a little out of 2, hit from the inside of Verzi before going into Cento. And again, that flop
squirrely out 4, but just gets it back under control. I was asking Brad this morning as well about when you're in a skid, is there a technique, a nuance to getting out of it, and is it just instinct? Like when you skid in a car, and he said, it's instinct, you know? Yeah,
if you have to think about it, it's way too late.
Absolutely.
And that's repetition. It's getting into loads of skids, and gradually it becomes an instinct.
It's a decent drive so far. Looks pretty tidy. Lovely down the chicane. Speed's not speed, though.
Yeah, speed's not great. I wonder if he's got a little bit too much control in the runners.
Potentially.
but you learn nothing from being upside down. Everybody already knows that crashes hurt. It teaches you nothing. So it's really important in this race to do well, but to have confidence, to leave here with confidence. Because the next time you come back, oh boy, that's not a time for building confidence. You've got to know that you can handle the track.
Absolutely. This is the dress rehearsal. And for a lot of nations, you know, even for us, we always want to go out and you want to win, but it's the test event.
Yeah.
Sometimes you almost don't want to win. You want to just, you know, you want to prioritize making the mistakes. You want to prioritize getting this right, because getting that part, the learning part right, because, you know, we get another bite of this apple, you know, and you want to make sure it's absolutely at the peak of your powers.
Yeah.
But a decent drive still from Kalenda. So Latvia, I say this every time I talk about these guys. You know, they're in a rebuild, storied nation of bobsleigh drivers, and definitely on the way back up.
Now, talking about the man who
the
might...
OGs.
Yeah. This is Francesco Friedrich with Alex Schuller behind him. Not just a great driver, but a great combination, this duo.
Okay, so 87 so far. It's the biggest, 82. Oh. There we go.
And Alex Schuller will have been targeting that. They go for the records every time they're going out.
Absolutely. See, Franz took a big hit there, but he's kept it straight.
Wasn't the most convincing set of runs in this second week of training, but again, race day and practice are very different things. And look at this, nice and smooth, no skids, no taps.
Yeah, he came out of 4 nice. That set him up so far here for the next couple of labyrinths. Takes the tap, but it keeps it straight, quarter of a second up.
Yeah, again, had to drive it out of K2. As you go light over that brow, you lose control of the sled for a bit. Down into Tofana. And Ampezzo climbing now steeply out of Ampezzo and up to Arrivo. Nice and clean, new track record.
55.
73.
There we go. So I'm pretty sure in the training week, nobody touched 55, even these guys in the 2-man. We were hitting that in the 4-man, so we should be seeing some 54s, 53s maybe even tomorrow in the 4-man, but yeah. Barnstorming drive by Franz there. You wouldn't really expect much different, but a 482 getaway. So these guys are... Franz pushes as well as his brakeman. I mean, you've got people like Alex Schuller who are just some of the best to ever do it. It makes for such a difficult challenge for his opponents, and he's only really going to be looking at the man coming out in 9th here, Hansi Lochner. He wants to keep him at bay.
Great view there. He started steering into K2, steered right to keep the nose up, and then brought it down again. The super slow-mo shows you how they're doing what they're doing that you just don't see at real speed.
Absolutely. And we saw some moments there. He dropped down from the 1st to sort of 4th speed, so they'll be looking at that as well. Like, where did we lose speed there? Because he's not going to be able to afford to lose that against the boys in his stable.
That's for sure. Next up for Italy, Patrick Baumgartner with Rob Masea. Last winner of a 2-man race on this track was his coach, Simone Battazzo, the man behind on the right-hand side of the picture.
Okay, we got one of the possibly the strongest man in bobsleigh on the back of the sled. 493, that's a great getaway for Patrick. That's stacking up really well.
Yep.
That's a fantastic push.
Ooh, little tricky from Verzi to Cento, but managed to avoid the skid.
Beautifully out of there, Patrick. So we've always said about Patrick where, you know, his push start has really improved in recent years, but he's always had absolute gold in the hands. He's always been a wonderful driver, a youth Olympic champion, and we're just seeing him, you know, he's going to want to put in the performance of a lifetime at a home Olympics. What an opportunity for him.
Well, we started 1100s back, now 4 tenths behind, but first to second is 3300, so this could still be a top 3, top 4 run. Second best speed for Patrick Baumgartner. And don't forget, the Italians might have a couple of dozen extra runs here to everybody else, but they haven't got a couple of 100 extra runs. The track has just not been open that long.
Okay, interesting.
5400s back, 56.27. So that sees him in 4th place. 600s behind Cedric Follador, and 2 tenths, 2100s behind Frank Del Duca. But clear air from Francesco Friedrich to anyone else at the moment.
Yeah, you just see that, extraordinary goal from Friedrich's sled. You know, an 82 push, 3 tenths to Frank. But you know what? I think Patrick will be reasonably happy with that. There'll be little mistakes there. You'll want to take a look at how's he out there.
That is the best K2 we've seen so far. He knew where he was going and he didn't have to correct it. Everybody else has either had to pull it off or change their steer midway through.
He knows there's a little bit to do there.
Now then, the
Here we go.
fastest man in practice was setting new fastest times all the time. Johannes Lochner with Georg Fleischhauer. And Georg, the only healthy member of last year's four-man crew. So Hansi has got real dramas
Go, low 80s,
with Brakeman.
82.
Oh, 82.
Equals Friedrich and Schuller. So that's the standard we're seeing here. Low 80s. I fancy they're going into the 70s by the time of the Olympic Games.
Little tap from Verzi into Cento. Nice exit.
Beautifully out of 4. So
Yeah.
he sets up the labyrinth well. And as you said, Martin, Hansi, we look at the timesheets in the training weeks, we're like, wow, Hansi's flying, Hansi's flying, Hansi's flying. Like, his speeds were just exceptional.
And to be able to, you know, and everybody else has sort of got spikes and dips and troughs and everything, but he's just been boom, 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 boom. It's like he knows the track.
Yeah. Number 1 speed so far. That's going to give him the edge on Franz. 2/10 up.
Little offline down into Tofana through the chicane.
Will that hurt?
No, he's got so much speed now. Honestly, you could almost have given it to me at that stage with that speed and it would still have been in front of the line, but...
Oh, boy, that's... he's put quarter of a second on Franz. That's an extraordinary drive.
Absolutely. To be 2,500s, 2/10 ahead of everybody here is one thing, but
I mean,
to be ahead of Lochner by that amount...
What a confidence builder.
Francesco, yeah. Well, he's been super confident and smiley and happy all week.
Oh, that's just Hansi, isn't it? He's a man you think doesn't necessarily look like he's taking it seriously, but boy, when he's in that sled, it's another story. God,
look at that
what
little
a second on Franz. That's...
Little 2-bunk tap. He knew that's what was going to happen. Boom, yeah, gone, good.
But it's just backing up what we've seen in the training
Yeah.
week, you know, where we saw, you know, because you never know what people are doing in the training week. You don't know if people are polishing their runners more, if they're just getting the track better, or if they're testing things. And, you know, he was showing his hand the whole time.
Yes.
Here's the boys.
All right, so behind Brad Hall, Ollie Butterworth. So great chance for a 2-man start for Ollie.
Go on with the boys. 491. Great getaway, boys. That's an excellent getaway for the lads. So you've got paratrooper Ollie
Nice
Butterworth
too.
in the back. Always wants to shout at the paras, the support that the British Army gives him to do bobsleigh. And his little boy Jackson, I hope you're watching at home, mate. Your daddy's just done a fantastic job.
Really nice run early on from Brad Hall. Avoided the taps, avoided the skids. Out of the labyrinth, down into Belvedere Bandion.
Hey, number
Top
1 speed at the moment.
Really strong run. 900s back at the start, 1900s back now, but that gap is growing. So he needs to keep the speed up, keep it clean at the bottom.
This is a great run, Bradders. Didn't like that, but that tap hurt him going on the uphill.
It won't help, but third best speed going down into Tofana will help.
Hold off Del Duca.
Yeah, third
He
at
does.
the line.
Woo, 200s in it. I tell you what, watch this. He'll be delighted.
Yeah. Because when this track flows, when you've got it right,
Good dismount,
it
Brad.
feels special.
Absolutely, and you know what? They'll know the significance. We've had 2 Germans go, and Frankie. Now, Frankie is a hot prospect in the 2-man with their equipment, with their push, with their drive. So to be ahead of him, that's something. And I don't think Brad was expecting that today in the 2-man.
Little bit of a harder hit out of K2. And then that little tap going down, it actually didn't square him up too badly into Tofana.
Chicane is tricky.
There you go.
Chicane is
Which is
tricky.
an odd one for Brad, because he's a man who shoots chicanes. That's his
Yeah.
talent, you know,
Yeah.
so he'll figure it out.
So, Lochner, Friedrich, Hall, Del Duca, Follador, Baumgartner, your top 6, 10 down. Just 22 more sleds to go in the first heat. So even now, we're starting to look at who might be in the danger zone. Dave Wesseling, Martin Krantz, Mate Behonek.
Here's
Kim
lots
Jin-soo.
to watch.
Yeah. Let's see what Kim Jin-soo
That's an
and
80-something.
Oh, tied, a 3-way tie for the start record.
These guys have been threatening that for the last couple of years. The pushes out of these boys has been absolutely extraordinary, and he can get this under control now, Kim.
Oh!
That's hit the roof.
Right up into the woodwork. I tell you what, they're going to have to look at that woodwork. It's taken a pounding.
Yeah, pull the splinters out of the runners. That's
Well, that was the bunk there, luckily. So, but still, only the 10th speed. He's the 11th sled, so slowest but one. And again, really hauling it off K2. That was not pretty. through Antelao Cristallo, a long 2-and-a-bit pressure Cristallo. That's what makes the chicane so difficult, is that you can't time the pressures right yet.
No, it's a real challenge. Going to go back a little bit here, 8/10 back. So still top 10 run.
Well, at the moment, might be safe. There are 4 sleds behind him. But don't forget, 1 in 3 does not get a second heat. Right now, top 4 are safe. Follador in 5th, 7/10 back. Baumgartner in 6th, 77/100 back. Should be safe. I'd say if you're 8/10 back and below, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, I've just got to shout at the brakeman. Kim, he's has an 82. He's equalled the German behemoths, like Behemoth. That's from Robot Wars, I think, back in the day, Behemoth. Honestly, an 82 is just, that is a massive getaway. They've been improving every single year, and I really, really fancied them for a big push today, but I wasn't expecting that. Fair play, boys.
Yep. Tie the start record, but is that even going to be enough to keep them in the race? We'll have to wait and see. Lots of talent to come, not least bronze medalist in the 2-man, Adam Amor, with Alexander Schaller, not Schuller, and that isn't going to confuse me at all during the season, is it?
I mean,
not remotely.
And but I think Schaller is as fast as his near namesake. This could be even better. 80.
Oh my lord!
There's the number 1. So we've got Adam in the front seat, who is an outrageously good pusher, and Alex Schaller on the back is another one of their top talents. So there you go.
So,
and Adam, skiddy out of there. Yeah. Adam was another one who was flying in training. We saw great speeds out of him, 2-man and 4-man, but he's going up against his boys. He's got to be clean through here.
4th best speed. It's Lochner, Friedrich, Hall, the top 3 at the moment, and he is just looking at making it a German top 3. Narrowly, in fact, I think he's moderately ahead of Brad Hall at this station. Whoa!
That's not good.
Backs it in. Well, that's how you slow down a rally car. That's how you slow down a MotoGP bike, by backing it in.
What's that done to him? It hasn't done it. How has that not dropped him back?
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the power of FES. That is unbelievable equipment, but bloody, excuse me. The push. Sorry, I'm getting excited with the push. Hello, Hansi. He's waving to us outside the commentary box. Mwah.
Well, look at this. First of all, almost up in the woodwork, and just avoids it. I mean, they are literally on the salt around the rim of the glass there, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, and Adam's a hell of a talent. That's brakes on.
It almost literally is, isn't it? And yet somehow
carrying so much speed at that point.
Yeah. Well, he was only 2nd or 3rd best speed, but it actually straightens itself before he gets there into Tofana, but 3,900's back. That would have been ahead of Friedrich if he'd come straight down there into Tofana.
But awesome pushing from the guys.
Yeah, brilliant. Now then, the gauntlet's been dropped again. Timo Rona and Tim Annan, younger brother of Deborah Annan and son of Martin Annan.
There's some big family names going on here, isn't there? Rona and Annan.
Yeah. Yeah, both sons of bobsledding greats from Switzerland that were actually counterparts at the time. Timo Rona and Martin Annan. Rona was one of the sort of old guard as Martin Annan arrived.
And a 494 getaway. That's a big push from Tim there. Timo's not famous for his pushing starts in the 2-man, but Tim Annan has given him a fantastic shove. You know what? I noticed Tim in the warm-up the other week and actually saw how well he moves. He's, I think he's got a sprint background, but he moves extremely well. So great job there for you, Tim.
All right. Again, untidy first 4 or 5 corners. Back on the programme now. Little late off K2 and gets the tap.
Keeps it straight.
Through Antelao and the big Cristallo. Comes out pretty cleanly through the chicane. Nicely down into Tofano. But again, he's going to be outside the top 10. And this is going to leave him in danger of not making the second heat, potentially. 56.42.
It's an interesting one. See Matthew Hirschberger there on the right, one of his brakemen. He was fancying Timo for changing the Swiss sliding order because in the 4-man training, in the training week we were in before, Timo was flying. You know, they've got some great kit. Again, we've got great hands in the front seat. There'll be a few mistakes looking to take slightly high pressure, a little late, but it's okay. That's not.
And again, last time they were on ice was 2 days ago. We've had 2 nights of -5-degree temperatures. The ice is very, very different today from how it was in training.
Oh, well, this is far faster. This I mean, Lochner's time 55.50. That was a fast 4-man time in training. So, you know, we've got half the weight here. It's we're going to see something extraordinary tomorrow.
And the problem is, you're only discovering how hard and ungrippy the ice is as you make the mistakes.
Yes.
Mickey Vogt with Andy Haas behind him. Social media star Andy Haas.
I tell you what, the Swiss have upped their game.
Stitched up like a kipper, wasn't he? 494.
Oh, was it the broom flying?
Yeah.
Yeah. A great getaway for the boys. Again, that shows the quality. Tim Annan's pushed before. You'd normally fancy Mickey to be out pushing Timo. So still a great job from Andy Haas, a 10-600 metre sprinter. And as always, whenever Mickey flies down the track, we've got to shout out Sandro. He was involved with their preparations. He was a part of everything, apparently the ray of sunshine that he is throughout this whole thing, and he still heals well, and we send him our best wishes as always. Your top
Mickey's been driving really well. Look at that, top 4 speed. He's out in 8th place. They were 1200s back at the start, but he's bringing it back. If he can keep that speed alive, this could be a top 5 run.
Yeah, he's another one, Mickey, he's a real danger man in the field.
Whoosh.
4th at the Beijing Olympics in the
through.
2-man.
Yeah.
He's an exceptional driver.
6th place. Behind Frank Del Duca. I think he might jump Frankie at the line. He doesn't quite. How far behind?
Much in it, though.
Yeah. 1200s back. So didn't have the acceleration at the bottom that he thought you might as he shot the chicane. This is why coaches are all going to sit and watch every one of these runs going, okay, here's the splits. Where did he lose the time? What happened there? Nothing in that sector caused him to lose the time, so it happened earlier.
It's true. And as a brakeman as well, I'm always fascinated and also slightly bored about when they go through this stuff, because what is it exactly that's going on here? Because you see they change the leaf spring, how hard or soft they are. You don't know about the polishing protocols. You don't know about the state of the ice. You know, the state of mind of the driver. Bobsleigh testing is borderline impossible. The variables are numerous. So.
Well, you change everything, and then you have one run, and go, oh, it was definitely that. Really?
That's what made it fast. Yeah,
exactly. I know. It's all in your head. It's not all in your head, but a degree of it is. Mihai Tentir for Romania with Gheorghe Iordache behind him.
So the young man in the front seat, it seems like he's been around forever. I think he's been around as long as I've been around.
I think he's been around since he was about 11.
Yeah. And a good getaway. They break the 5-second mark.
Yep, 497 is very good for this duo. Again, Mihai not renowned as a front handle starter, but again, some of the softest hands as a driver.
It's nicely round 4, gets it out without too much of a problem. Sets them up for the top labyrinth. These are nice exits. 10th best speed though, speed's not quite there.
Out driving their start. So at the moment, 11th place is Dave Vesselink of the Netherlands. 12th is Timo Rona.
Oh, takes the skid down the chicane and that.
Look at the speed he had going through the chicane though. That was top 6 speed. So
We're uphill here.
It will stop him plunging down the order. So 56.46. He was 12th going into that skid, 13th across the line.
Yeah, I think mixed emotions. This is what we're talking about with the learning with this track. We're seeing just how vital that chicane is. You've got to shoot that chicane. You're heading onto the uphill. You take a skid there, a tap there. You haven't quite got enough speed on board. If it's not game over, it's certainly a big dent to your aspirations. But he's had some injury problems over the last couple of years, Mihai as well, so it's good to see him fit. See him correcting the runners there.
Yeah, he hasn't had to, I'm going to say this now and regret it, he hasn't had to sit in at a start for a couple of seasons.
Yeah,
that was, for 1 year, about half the races he was sitting in with his brakeman doing the pushing. So, yeah, good to see he's fit and healthy.
Absolutely, good job, boys.
So they ended up in 13th place. So 2 sleds behind them. Next up, Li Chunjian of China with Jiangxiang Ren. So a new Chinese brakeman.
I was going to say, I don't know too much about this brakeman, but I know a lot about Lee. I've got my notes here. Lee, great bloke. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. Always friendly, always easy with a smile. And part of a really good Chinese program.
Yeah. And Ren, brand new. This is his World Cup debut. Yeah, completely on the wrong side there, going through the bottleneck. And look at what he's done. Tap and skids. The extra weight having the brakeman in the back compared to the monobobs means they're not pinballing wall to wall out of control, but it's still taking time out.
Yeah, you just see a little messy up the top there, a little late on the exits and on the wrong side, taking the wrong side tap and
again, late on there. So the Labyrinth didn't work well for him. Belvedere Bandion out of K2, down the Retifilio and into Antelau and Cristallo. Now, how does he exit this?
Come on, Lee.
Not a bad-looking run,
yeah.
but only the 12th best speed. He's the 16th sled on ice. So will he be able to claw his way ahead of Mihai Tentea of Romania? No, he does not. So that's good news for the Romanians. That's another sled behind.
Yep.
And don't forget, to make the top 20, you've got to be faster than at least 12 guys. So Mihai's already faster than 3. So he's starting to build that buffer. And for Lee, 9th best start, 14th at the bottom. Tells you how much time was lost in those skids and taps, particularly early on.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of improvements from them. Because, so again, we're talking about this learning curve at this track. He's got, Yannis Minins on board. He's got Damals Dry Skins, my bobsleigh hero, teaching them to push. They've got enough expertise and resource in the camp to fix this. But dress rehearsal so far, good job, Lee. Lots to improve on.
So next up for the USA, Chris Horn with Powell Hunter. 22 Olympian Chris Horn. He was a brakeman for Hunter Church. He's got a Hunter behind him now. A debutant, 29-year-old 29-year-old Hunter Powell. 5 career two-man races.
Big push here, watch this, in the 80s. 84, cracking getaway. As a pair of decathletes as well, as John likes to point out as well. We had a couple of decathletes here, Mark.
Last time we saw them was in the World Championships, and that is the only senior race that Hunter Powell has competed in. So he did a World Champs before a World Cup race.
Yeah, a little high and late from Chris into the into corner 4 there, but again, we're going to see, he had a barnstorm at Placid. It's unfortunately crashed at the World Champs where he was, still came down unbelievably quick. So,
oh, wow. Yeah, that first heat crash, he clawed his way right back through the field, didn't he?
Yeah, but Chris is wired for this. He's a born pilot in the same vein as the Brad Hall, I think. Wow.
Whoa, Brakeman was sitting up there.
Oh, boy.
But Hunter Powell was completely lost. That was not going light over the brow. That was sitting up.
Here we go. Top 6 so far.
Yeah, really strong run.
So he managed to keep some speed on board there, Horn, but...
luckily, although Hunter sat up, he did not pull on the brakes, because that would have been the end of their day.
Yeah, I hope you can let me get a replay on that. Did he sit up or was he bumped? Sometimes you get bumped up and...
it wasn't backside leaving the seat, it was head up.
So we see him just a little high and late there.
Yeah.
Ooh, sticks that graze.
That was a double tap, wasn't it?
Yeah, those runners were high.
Both bunks on the woodwork.
But he's done well to keep speed on board there, and I've got to shout Hunter for a stunning push.
From the chicane... No, he definitely he pops his head up. He's lost count of where we are. And again, I never understand why the routine is not, you don't move until the driver shouts brakes. Yes. Anyway, here we go. Jeff Gabwa with another debutant. This is rookie Bryce Cheek.
Good athlete.
Bryce, a 32-year-old. Raced in North America's Cup and Europe Cup since 2021, so he's been waiting a while to get into the World Cup. Competed in the World Champs in Lake Placid with his driver, Jeff Gabwa.
Jeff had a spill in training. He had a bit of a shoulder problem, so 497 getaway is pretty good here. Jeff, another pilot, not famous for his push prowess. You've got to put a horse behind him, and he's got one in Bryce Cheek. So a 97 getaway is a good acquittal there for the boys.
Little tap.
Ooh, that's a roof smack. There you go. You feel that one. Wake up, Bryce.
Little tap in Verzi, but a whammy into Primo Labyrinthi. 15th best speed. Now he is going to struggle to make a second heat.
So he's in.
And again, very late. Almost rolled it off K2.
Yeah, some big mistakes down here. He's going to be really gutted with that.
Absolute shocker. I wonder if he's gone for fatter runners, looking for some speed after training, and then found that the ice is just too hard and fast for them.
Yeah, you see a 79 mile per hour speed there. It's one of the slowest so far.
Yeah.
He's going to be frustrated with that one.
18th out of 18, and that, I'm afraid, is very likely the last we're going to see of him today.
Oh, I feel for Jeff there. Like I say, that spill in training, and I think he actually separated out his AC joint, so he was in significant pain with that. And
look at this, straight up into the
boom,
woodwork.
look at that. Yeah.
Boom.
You see the back bunk hit it.
You hit the back bunk, and often that brings the nose, the tail down, and the nose up, and the front runners go across the woodwork. He was lucky to get away with that. And again, into K2, how close is that to rolling it down the straight into Antelau?
Yeah, I don't know if they did work on K2, but it seemed to be more forgiving as the training week went on, because there are a few people rolling, spilling out. Because you get pushed away before you get in, so you get onto it late, and you roll out of it. But,
Marcus Treichel, Sascha Stepan,
and now the 480 something here. Where is it? 88.
Well,
great getaway. Sascha, one of the lighter men in the field. I don't know if he's quite qualifies for Team Skinny, but he is definitely one of the lighter men, and he gave Marcus some absolute barnstorming pushes last year. So a good two-man pairing we're watching here.
Just about got away with it in the first few corners, but the speed isn't great. 14th, he's the 19th sled down.
So is the track losing speed? Are we seeing a bit of that as well?
I don't know. It's held its speed really well all the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have to say, it really has.
Well, he's pulling himself back towards 7th place, which is where his start was.
Doing all right here, Marcus.
Out to 8th again. So he's hovering around. Mickey Vogt, Cedric Follador, will he split the Swiss? He does. In fact, he doesn't. He ties with Cedric Follador.
Always blows my mind how you can get sleds going down over a mile of ice and come down in exactly the same time.
Different sleds, different runners, different drivers, same time. Yeah, that makes no sense. Wolfgang Stampfer, the coach you saw there, finished 9th in the World Cup race here in 2008. Treichel currently 8th.
Treichel had a great season last year, but he had that meniscus problem, and his season ended. It was absolute disaster for the guys and what they missed out on, because he was having a fantastic year.
It was his season of seasons.
Absolutely. So hopefully he rediscovers that form, keeps us as competitive as possible,
and stays fit.
Absolutely,
stays fit. Yeah. Once you got your brain into that lock where you absolutely are on it, to be taken out by a physicality is a real problem. Okay, next up, our 20th sled. So this will complete the second heat. Sun Kai-chi and Tai An. Tai An, one of the young brakemen, came into the squad last season. And Sun and his teammate Lee have been yin and yang, absolutely level. One will be just ahead, the other will be just ahead.
Yeah.
Nothing to choose between them.
They want to outpush them here, though. 490 they do. 93 for Lee, 90 for Sun. I think Sun tends to have the slight edge on the pushes in the start. See how he comes down in the drive.
Tapin Verzi, Exoduscento leads you into Primo Labyrinthi, and he has a pretty clean run.
Yeah, nicely done.
Little runner check to stop the skid.
Should keep some speed on board, though.
Well, they started 9th best. This should bring them back up. 7th best speed, so they should be back into the top 10 at the next clock.
Now, if he keeps it clean out of K2 and down the chicane.
Looked like he was getting a little bit aerial there. Out of Antelau into Cristallo. Seeing less of Cristallo with the shades down this afternoon. Speed is dropping away. Started 9th fastest. He's down to 15th, down to 16th. He's behind Lee now.
Just squeaks ahead.
He's not. 1200s in front of Lee. Yeah, not the definitive run to guarantee a second heat. And that's what it's all about now. 20 sleds down, 12 more to go. So now you've got to bump somebody or you don't get a second run.
Yeah, we've got some danger men coming through. We've got Pat Norton with a big push. We've got Variola, homegrown hero. We've got Heinrich returning.
Yeah.
You fancy him to get in the top 20. He was going really well in the training week.
You've got 2 more Italians. You've got 2 Canadians. Yeah, there's enough to be really in the danger zone if you're below 15th. So top 10 are safe. I would say again, where are we? 8 tenths, 9 tenths now back maybe. Mihai Tentea 15th. But if you're a second away, you're going to be spending a worrying 30 minutes. Taylor Austin with Shaq Murray Lawrence behind him. Let's see what the Canadians have got for us.
We've got Shaq, an absolute warrior, on the back, 5 flat. Now that's going to make him hungry. He'll want to break that 5-second mark in the next one. He's a great athlete. He's seen some real improvements this year. We've been watching him on Insta in the Calgary Ice House, pushing personal bests, so he'll be wanting to push that even harder. Now Taylor's a good pair of hands here. Navigate 4 well.
Nice looking
Sets
run.
up the labyrinth. Yeah.
Now, they're only 18th fastest at the start, so he's got to build that speed. And look at the velocity
he's at
of the
15th.
18th fastest start.
Yeah, he's moving well here, Taylor. Keep this together.
Again, it's
At 9 square.
It's that age-old argument. Do you have a slightly narrower runner and skid less, or a slightly fatter runner and potentially have top speed but less control? Up to 16th, up to 15th. This could be up behind Timo Rona, ahead of Mihai Tentia. Yeah,
he does.
He does. Jeff Gabois does not get a second heat. Lyndon Rush, Justin Cripps. Last time the World Cup was here, Rush was driving, Cripps was in the back seat. He was a brakeman. So 5 flat, and they come down 56.49. Well, the first danger man has proved to be a danger man and has bumped one out already.
Yeah, we've always known Taylor's had a excellent pair of driving hands. He drives well in North America on his home tracks, but he comes to Europe and acquits himself well. He's not always had the fastest start. He needs monsters like Shaq on the back to give him that velocity.
All right, so go fast or go home, and Taylor Austin went fast. Yeah, good job from the Canadians. Loving the colour scheme on this second Romanian sled. This is Andrei Turea with Rares Tinka. Again, both relatively new to the programme, but Andrei was looking fairly comfortable in the training week this week. So let's see what they can produce. Again, they need to come down middle 56s, high 56s. If you're in the 57s, you ain't getting it done.
Okay, a 5:01.
All right,
puts them in the mix.
Exactly so. That's just 100 slower than we saw from Taylor Austin. If he can drive this down cleanly, then he's definitely got a shot at a second heat.
Nicely out of 4. Avoids the roof, always good. You're almost feeling for that one as a brakeman in the back. You just went, oh, am I going to hit the roof here?
Right, 18th best speed, so he's not got anything like the speed of Taylor Austin.
And it's been pretty clean, though.
Well, and again, I wonder, are they on maybe a thinner runner than some of the others, just so he's got that control? Because again, with a young driver, they're not expecting medals from this Games if he qualifies. What they're expecting is for him to gain knowledge. So no point in him leaving here a little worried about the track or worried about his own abilities. Much more important to give him confidence. He's in.
Just stuck on the 20th mark.
And Matej Bohenek of the Czech Republic is out. So what's that, 56.77? Not even, you've got to be mid 56s.
Definitely. But again, these are times we weren't seeing last week. So,
yeah.
And even for these slightly newer drivers, you know, we're dealing with speeds that, as you said earlier, like it's coming at them for the first time, and you're learning it as you're driving into it. So.
And particularly because these first 3 or 4 corners are so critical.
They are, and he's drifting.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's the right line, sorry.
It's kind of okay. He could have done with being a little more middle. Again, K2 driving it off into the wall. And that's a judgment thing. How fast do I need to drive it? How much? You know, if you're 100th too long on the steer.
Now,
Pat Norton,
a big push here.
Yeah, Pat with Mike Evelyn in at the last minute this morning. 4.97.
97, good getaway for the boys. Pat's a strong pushing pilot, and the big lad on the back, Mike Evelyn, is, well, the Calgary Ice House record holder. So a man who's usurped big Canadian brakemen over the years. So got real talent in this sled.
Pat was telling me he had to take 4 days out of pre-season training to go home for the birth of his daughter. So that was a narrow window. Right, we need to be induced now. We need you to come out now because I've got to leave.
God,
so,
yeah.
I know, absolutely.
Well, congratulations, Pat. That's wonderful news.
Yeah. So another dad sled, as he was saying.
That's it. Okay, he's nice. Sitting in 19th.
Just got away with it through the chicane.
Has he got enough on board here to get to the top 20?
Now,
he's down in.
Can he creep ahead? Can he get back ahead of Martin Krantz? Is he ahead of Andrei Turea? No, he's not.
He's fine.
No, he's not. And with the hurry up that we've got this season, There's only 8 days between the last race of 2025 and the first training day of 2026. So the chances of getting home across the other side of the Atlantic are fairly thin.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard actually that the Canadians are staying in Donington for Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I don't know. I don't know where they're staying. There is a very nice hotel in Castle Donington.
Well, there's a rather lovely maisonette in Caterham if they want to come and stay with me.
You say lovely.
Get the sofa bed out.
All right, so no second heat for Pat Norton and Mike Evelyn. Tomorrow, there you go.
That's it. Keep it positive, Pat.
Now, what about Mattia Variola of Italy with Fabio Batti behind him?
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
Matti's a great pushing pilot, fantastic athlete. Fabio on the back, really good push athlete. So, and you know, and as you said, they've had a few more runs here.
And
it's your hometown now, Maddie. Let's give it some.
They got that man behind them, Simone Battazzo. He knows how to drive a sled.
Absolutely.
Drivers see stuff that the rest of us don't.
So, get in, Fabio, careful. So he's run that 496, good getaway. So I was a little angsty there because I know where the spurs give out here, and if you get in too late, whoo, it's a big hit.
Yep.
You can set the sled into a skid, but you don't want going into corner one. But
yeah, the old 1956 track, you had to run it around corner one. The driver's in, the brakeman is running it literally around corner one.
I know brakemen who still want to do that.
It was such a short start. I know, the Americans do it in St. Moritz every year in the four-man.
That's it, not what you want to do anymore, but some mistakes at the top of the track here for Matty, which I think has probably put paid to his speed.
Yeah. He's not getting a second heat out of this, is he? This is a run that the first week of training you wouldn't have been happy with. And we saw a couple of those in the Monobob race. Random training runs that just appeared in the race.
Yeah, it's a shame for him, but he's just got to go back to the drawing board and work on what's what went wrong here. You know, he needs to. We can see at the top there's just too many mistakes this late in the field for him to carry enough speed down. So
and not even close to making the cut. That's the slowest run we've seen down here. Now, which is one thing on any track, but it's not what you need on your home Olympic track.
Yeah, we'll just see. So you can see that early exit takes the big hit. There's a skid again.
Yeah, and then that throws you wrong in here. You got to haul it off. You're wrong into four. Boom, bang.
High. There we go.
Yeah,
and it's skidding. Yeah,
and airborne. I mean,
he's just
not far away from rolling it into the labyrinth there. Yeah, that was an unmitigated disaster for Mattia Variola, but that is a welcome relief for Andrei Turea of Romania. What about Jakob Mandelbauer with Daniel Bertzler behind him? These two growing in prowess over the last couple of seasons. Into the wall.
Right. Oh, boys, the 490 getaway is excellent. I remember Daniel was giving Jacob some really good pushes last year.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's already down into 18th, 19th.
Off the ninth fastest start.
Lovely out of four. Let's see if he can keep this clean the rest of the run. There'll be something to take from it. But he already was out of the grooves.
Yeah.
From the start.
The speed is nowhere, and hitting. I'm sure he hit the bottleneck as they went through there.
Yeah. I think so too.
And effectively, you might as well have walked it off at the top of the track. 22nd on the splits. If he's ahead of Variola, I'll be surprised, actually, to be honest. He's coming back a little bit. 21st. No. Double tap before you go uphill. Everything that could have gone wrong with that one did, other than actually planting yourselves on your helmets.
Yeah, squeaks ahead of Jeff by 300ths, but, you know, the speed, seeing is under 80 miles an hour, and we saw it from the start.
Yeah. And when we get that, I'm sure we're going to get a replay from behind of them going down. Pretty sure that he whacked the bottleneck.
Yeah. And it was
exactly what you were talking about, running it just those couple of steps too far.
Watch it. Oh, yeah, out the grooves, takes the skid. He's trying to correct it. He wants to take that slightly left line into corner one. And it's, yeah.
But even as Daniel Bertzler was power stepping and loading, they were still in the grooves, but Jakob Mandelbauer didn't have control of the sled as they came out.
Yeah, it's a shame because it was a good start. But again, this is talking about learning curve, guys. It's okay. Come back tomorrow. Yep,
absolutely. So Jakub Prochaska with Lukas Petrovic. He is our next contestant, 26th out of 32 sleds.
So a former brakeman in Joachim as well. He's been having an interesting roller coaster of a ride, I think, in his driving career.
Teammate Matti Behonek is not in the race. He currently lies 21st.
And a
That's
92
a strong
getaway.
start, yeah, 11th best start.
Really good job.
12th best start, 11th best velocity that was, so that's impressive. Oh,
He's
little
relatively straight.
Yeah.
Oh, just seeing the numbers dropping there, but I think he would keep enough on board to get ahead of Matti, but that's getting him into the top 20. I'm not sure he'll have enough here.
Yeah. 12th at the start, down to 13th, down to 19th on the splits. Little square tap, that's not too bad.
He's straight through the chicane.
Yeah. He's got a
That didn't sound straight.
Boy, that didn't sound anything, did it, other than a big old belt.
He's holding this
Still
19th rank at the
be.
moment.
This is ahead of Andre Tureno.
He's done it!
Oh, he hasn't.
Oh, he snuck ahead of his teammate, but...
Yeah, ahead of his teammate, but 100th out of the race. Yeah, that wallop on the wall, that took just enough speed out of the sled.
Yeah.
Think about it, if you're running along and you bash your elbow on a bit of street furniture, you know it slows you down.
Absolutely. And you know, I think Joachim will see some positives in that. You know, it was a really good push.
Yep.
Decent getaway, 492, getting down low into the 4.9s, and only 100th outside of the top 20 as it stands.
And ahead of Matti.
Ahead of his teammate.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
tentative positives.
There you go, 100th away. Now then, another debutant for Latvia, 21-year-old Renārs Grantins. 8th in the Youth Olympics in Samarits in 2020. He's done 10 Europe Cup races in his career. He is the Junior European silver medalist.
Good. We should see a good push here. 91.
Yes.
Good getaway, boys. Renār is only young. He's a great kid. Learning a lot. Real talent.
Eggers on the back handles. They always put experienced brakemen in with the new drivers. They don't bring a young crew in together.
Yeah, and Ungers he was pushing amazingly in training. I saw him got knocked out of 496 in training, and it looked like he got in 20 metres early. So I thought he was going to be a real one to watch. So 91 getaway is excellent for sure. I really hope Renārs gets into the top 20 here.
I don't think he's going to. I think from the way he's driving, it's looking relatively smooth and controlled. Again, I'm thinking the coaches may have just given him slightly narrower runners, build the confidence. Don't let him scare himself.
I think he was approaching, but that'll be it.
Yeah, the speed was decent, 13th best. Don't forget, he's the 27th sled down. He is in the 20.
Is he going to do it?
Oh!
Another one just out.
Yeah, that big skid.
Yeah, from the Romanian, 27, 28, and now 30s.
Yeah. So that is 300s out of the race. And he actually splits the Czech guys. 300s of a second. There's a 10th, that double tap.
Yeah, he was a little bit.
Here's another 500s, another 10th.
Yeah, that late into. Yeah, again, plenty of mistakes, plenty of things to sort of wash up. And look at that big skid. I mean, he's out the top 20 by 300s.
You just look at the marks it's leaving on the ice, and these are not square-edged ice skates. These are polished, rounded runners. As low friction as you can get.
Lots to learn, young man. You'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Now then, Jakub Zareski of Poland. Only his second World Cup. Severin Sosna, the brakeman, a little more experienced, but Jakub really still very new to the World Cup. So good to see Poland rebuilding their bobsleigh team over the last few years.
Definitely run that far as he kept it straight.
5:01, that's not a bad getaway for these two young Poles. But big thump on the exit of Vertzi.
So he gets round forward to the first lap. Ooh, little, skiddy. There's not going to be enough speed on board here, but as you say, new crew.
Yep. And
new to the World Cup.
More reacting to what happens rather than knowing what's going to happen. And again, that's the experience of it, isn't it? Driving cars, driving bobsleds, riding motorbikes, it's knowing what happens when something happens.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing how to fix the mistakes, gaining that experience, what it feels like to be late into a corner, to be late off a corner.
And the instinct of grabbing it before you get the huge skid. And there's been some huge skids here.
When you see that ice cloud
Yep.
fly up in front of the camera lens.
Okay, 57.65, so about a second out of a comfortable second heat.
Coach David not too pleased with that, but
Well, look, you know, lots and lots of mistakes, but they've taken a World Cup trip down the Olympic track. If Poland managed to qualify a sled, if he manages to be the driver in it, then at least he'll have had experience of this facility.
definitely. But you can see those, like, you know, into corner 4, they're out, you know, outside here, big skids. Like, these are all speed killers. So
Yeah.
look at that ice cloud.
Yeah. Rattling the sled onto the short wall on the inside. And it's timing. It's all about timing, just easing the sled off a fraction too early. Shouldn't hopefully see too much of that from Alex Verginer with Mario Lambrughi behind him. Mario in his third two-man start.
Yeah,
One four-man start. So Mario, the brakeman, can count on the fingers of basically one hand how many World Cup bobsleigh races he's done.
But he's a good athlete, Mario. He had a couple of good pushes last year, and Alex in the front handle is an absolute beast. Still learning his trade as a driver. 87, there you go, look at that. Into the 80s, that's top 6, that's one of the outstanding pushes of the day. So
6th best start. He did have a crash in training this week.
yeah, he's still learning as Alex in the front seat, but they've got to be really excited about this guy.
That's not bad. When you have, it's like having a bigger engine in a drag race. When you've got that start, you get meters on people. And then all you've got to do is try and hang on to it. Whoa!
He's drifted back to 19th on the split so far, but as you say, when you've got such a big start, you can afford to make just a few more mistakes, but has he got enough? That's not too bad. He kept it square.
Nearly rolled it off K2 like he did in training. Will he be in the top 20? I think he's close. No, it's all gone away at the bottom. And that is back from Antelau and Cristallo. Doesn't make it through, but he is ahead of Mattia Variola, who is 28th out of the 29 sleds at the moment. So Alex Verginer, 56.86.
Yeah, potentially a combination of, you know, maybe some of the heat's coming out of the track, maybe a few mistakes, a few things just totted up on the way down, because from a 6th fastest start, I mean, you talk about finding your positives.
Yep.
But yeah, he flopped out a bit there, just kind of wrong side. These are all just ebbing away time. And
look at this, runners airborne on the high side there in K2. That was about as close as we've seen to rolling it down the hill.
Definitely. It's really interesting to watch. It's such a new track. It's watching you starting to pick up the patterns of mistakes. Where are the danger areas? And
now then, 2 debutants here. We've got Chi Zhangyu, the 18-year-old driver, and Ding Yundar, the 22-year-old brakeman. In fact, he's in his 3rd two-man World Cup. He's done 3 Europe Cup races, the brakeman, but the driver, a total of 7 Europe Cup races.
Oh, now that's a push. 488.
Wow. Well, the driver, his World Cup debut was in Innsbruck in December 2 seasons ago as a brakeman for Sun Kai Chi.
Right, there we go, brakeman in the front seat.
2 years later, he's driving in the World Cup.
Right, well, there you go. 488 getaway, that's an excellent job, lads.
And what it also tells you about the Chinese program
He's gone.
is they've earned a 3rd sled.
Oh, I saw some shoulders on the ice. Hopefully he's okay. Get yourselves tucked in, lads. Oh, that's such a shame.
And it's a long way down from there.
Way down.
Yeah.
They're not having much fun in there.
No.
Now, we could see the crash protocol here. I've not seen or heard much about it just yet. So if we're hitting the uphill here, that sled's going to want to go backwards.
Yeah. Well, I know further up the finish straights there are Alpini with hooks and ropes.
Yeah, it's not made it.
It hasn't got that far. No, they crashed very early. So this is out of Labyrinth 1.
So
he's way too low, and then comes shooting out of Labyrinth 2.
There we go. Out too early.
He's steering it down, but
Gravity.
centrifugal force just pushes him up.
And that's it.
Yeah. And rolls on the exit.
See, look.
And then rolling into Labyrinth 3. You can see there are marks in the track already from similar crashes earlier in training.
Yeah. Well, we've got mandatory safety rules now with having Burns vests on. Hopefully the brakeman's got his on and he's not too badly bashed up by that.
Yeah, both of them, I think, will have taken a bit of a rattling all the way down.
Oof, yeah, big hit there.
Yeah. So here's the low point in the track. They sort of got there and went no further. And that's what I suppose one of the, quote, advantages of having crashed so early on is that you didn't have a lot of speed and you've scraped most of it off on the ice anyway. So
this is another
5-minute hold that Roman Heinrich doesn't need.
As athletes, this is one of the big challenges you try to prepare for, because you don't know. This happened to you in Olympic Games. You know, you feel, as a brakeman, you're getting so fired up for a race. You're caffeined out of your mind. You're smashing your head, your helmet around, punching walls, getting yourself. You've got to empty everything you've got in 4 to 5 seconds to give your pilot the best speed they can have, and that takes a certain mindset. And to then come down from that level, when you're told track hold, it's like a full start in 100 meters. You know, can you collect yourself? Can you bring yourself back? Do you want to find a warm room to get into? So personally, I wouldn't want to be out here waiting. I'd want to be going, and I'd want trousers on as well. I'd want to be, keeping myself as much heat in my body as possible.
Well, they should have been told at the start. They should be aware that it's a mandatory 5-minute hold. There's Dorian Hauteville. And this is another of the dad sleds, as Roman Heinrich says. He's on tour with his baby daughter. Not baby now, they're toddler. I mean, once they start walking, that's it. All bets are off, they're gone.
That's it.
You can't leave them anywhere for more than a second or two. And Big Doe, he's a dad as well. So Roman retired a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now, returned last season. When it was announced that the 2030 games were going to be in the French Alps. So the sliding centre will be in La Plagne. Yeah. And part of it is that he wants to be there to compete. The other part of it is that he really wants to be there to hand on his experience. He doesn't want to leave with a void behind him. That's a big part of it for Roman Heinrich, is to be there and to help bring young kids in who will already probably be being attracted by the fact that there's a home games in 4 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, there you go. There is Shi and Ding. Smiles on their faces. They do look okay. So, good news.
See, you can see here the spikes the guys are wearing, the Nike and the Puma. Like, there's people are starting to get a bit of a trade going in creating bobsleigh spikes, because they're just impossible to buy anymore. You can't even find them anywhere. So, I'm currently waiting for convincing Adele Nichols' dad to make mine for me. I'm a bit of a loose cannon with an angle grinder. So.
Yeah, the problem is the bit of the running spike that you don't need is most of the spike. The bit that you need is the tip. So little needle spikes. And there used to be a standard shoe, but those are no longer in production. So it's going to be a little bit of a track hold. You can see the track worker there on the walkie-talkie. And again, by the way, while we're talking about it, heads up to the track workers. I have no idea how many hundreds of trips have gone down this track in the last 2 weeks. But there's been endless 2-man, 4-man, women's bob, monobob, skeleton. I mean, yesterday alone, we had 120 skeleton runs.
Wow. No, they've done a phenomenal job. Like, there was not even a whisper really of track maintenance needing to be done, or something's fallen apart, or there's concrete shining through. You know, they really have done a stunning job.
Yeah. So the Ice Meister used to work on the old track here, but that was easier because the only bit you had to worry about was the running surface. You didn't have to worry about the walls.
Well, I heard the old track had concrete walls.
There was concrete walls. It's a concrete U-shaped channel, but there was only cooling after 1980 in the bottom and on the corners, and the walls, if it was mild, were just concrete.
That's what I mean. They were bare concrete.
Yeah.
Chris Woolley told me about that.
And so even going down in a taxi bob, you're accompanied by the smell of burning glass fibre, because every rub on the wall was just raw concrete.
Yeah.
And that's why they used to belt you in, or strap you into the sled. You wore a weightlifting belt, and you'd be hooked into the floor of a taxi bob.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to know.
Because crashing was not fun. Remember Arnfinn Christensen in a crash in a World Cup race showing me his helmet afterwards, and the concrete just planed right through the helmet.
Yeah. Right.
So it luckily missed his skull, but that was luck, not judgment.
Well, thank you for building a new track.
There you go. I mean,
not rebuilding the old
and you know
one.
what? It's got a lot of the feel of it. I mean, it's got the spectacular views and everything else. It's on the original footprint. The start area is above where the wooden start shed was. So there's so much of that history here. And in the woods behind us is the 1956 start. It's still there. And it's still crazy. And the original track in 56 was not refrigerated at all. It was just, if it was cold, there was ice. If it wasn't, there wasn't. So then when they lowered the start in 1980, they put in a refrigeration plant of sorts. So here we go, ready to get our World Cup race back underway. Still in the first heat, still with 2 sleds to go. Roman Heinrich and Dorian Oteville for France.
And again, we'll be seeing, well, provided the boys aren't too cold now, we should be seeing a comfortable sub-5-second start here. Dorian's an exceptional athlete. Roman has always been a fantastic brakeman. He's a good pushing pilot as well, and it's great to see these boys back and doing their thing.
Coaching.
Allez, boys, come on then.
Coaching from Bruno Mijon, Max Robert, 2 of Bruno Mijon's Olympic bronze medal-winning team in Nagano '98. Bruno had some good races on the old track here as well. Of course, that knowledge doesn't really translate. But, you know, there we go.
91.
491. All right, not bad after a 5-minute cold hold.
Definitely, and equal the Brits as well, so you'll enjoy those bragging rights over Brad Hall.
9th best speed off the 13th best start, so they loaded well up to 9th place on the splits.
I thought he'd nailed it there, but he's...
Yeah, he got that cross-track skid, and the speed's gone away. Now, this is about getting into the second heat. This is really building up performance for the end of the season.
Yeah, I'd fancy Roman for getting into the top 20 here, but he was good in the International Training Week. He's always got good speed. He's very experienced.
I think he should be in the 20.
Yeah.
I was rather thinking he was going to be in the top 10 early on, but that has gone away. It should be enough on board.
15.
It is enough on board, yeah.
Good lad, well done.
So 56.46.
Tied with Mihai Tenteia. And how far from the top 10? A couple of tenths from the top 10, but still.
Yep.
Off the, what are we talking about there? 31st sled?
Yep.
Yeah.
5-minute hold, 13th best start. But
yeah,
they
well done,
absolutely loaded velocity into that sled.
Yeah.
13th fastest start, they had 9th best velocity.
Yeah, I think lots to be pleased about there. He'll see, like, his exit 4 here. You'll know.
Yeah, this is where it all went away. This is the difference between 10th and 15th, or 9th or 8th and 15th.
Yeah, and that's, I think, hopefully for him, relatively easy fixes.
Yeah.
But good pushing and good acquittal for their sled and equipment as well to be running this fast, this well. Yeah. 30-second sled, getting the top 15. Lots to be positive about there. Good job.
All right, so
well done,
they
mate.
are in, and they have pushed out Andrei Turea of Romania. Martin Krantz is on the bubble, so it is him or, deep breath, Portugal. So lots to talk about here with Team Ribeiro. First of all, first ever World Cup race for Portugal. Portugal has only been represented at the Olympics once in bobsleigh. That was in Calgary, the Cool Running Games. So the driver, Rafael Ribeiro, 36, driving for Portugal, has also driven for Serbia. Oh, and France in his career in Europe Cup. And his brakeman, Abdelkader Larinaga, 33, a sprinter and hurdler, a Pan Am silver medalist for Cuba before he then started competing for Portugal.
Okay.
So the drivers competed in bobsleigh for 3 different nations. The brakeman has sprinted for 2. Talk about multinational, but this is the first ever
Nice out of 4, though.
Portuguese World Cup entrant.
Yeah, he was a little messy from 1 to 3, but he gets himself out of 4 well, sets himself up through the first labyrinth well, but I just love seeing smaller nations coming into the sport, competing.
Absolutely. Little late off K2. This is not going to be the slowest run. He will be ahead of the Poles and ahead of the Chinese.
Oh, a bit wild there.
That was quite wild. But Rafael Ribeiro and Abdelkader Larinaga for Portugal. The first time we've had a Portuguese team in World Cup history. 1988, the Calgary Games. That was the last time. Not their start time or their finish time. That was a 58.62. All right, so, well, you know, when the Jamaicans came back, and have returned several times, everybody thinks back to the Calgary Games, but it was clearly a touchstone for this Portuguese team as well.
Yeah.
And it's great to see small nations. I mean, Portugal's probably not the world's most famous winter sport nation.
No.
So really good to see small nations coming into the sport.
Yeah, plenty to be learning down here. So big skids. It was a little wild. I think he loses the back end through here as well. It's see a big drift there. There it goes.
And before this, the driver has had 12 official Europe Cup races over the season. So there's Rafael. So 4 races for France in the 2015-16 season, 1 for Serbia in 2017, and 7 races since then for Portugal. But at the other end of the field is Germany's Johannes Lochner. It is a yellow 1, 2, 3 at the moment. But Hansi and Big Georg Fleischhauer have a very healthy lead over Francesco Friedrich.
He's flying.
With Adam Amour really should have been snapping at Friedrich's heels, but a little problem low down cost him some time. He's in 3rd. Brad Hall in 4th, and a tight little battle with Frank Del Duca, maybe with Chris Horn and Mickey Vogt closing in. And what about Marcus Treichel and Cedric Follador and Patrick Baumgartner?
Yes,
they're
tight.
all within 11 hundredths of 6th position. Then Kim, Callender, Vesselink, Rona, Heinrich, Tentea, Austin, Sun. I mean, some pretty close battles. And Martin Krantz of Liechtenstein, 20th place, does get a second heat. Everybody else on down from 21st to 32nd do not go again. And just one sled failed to complete the course. That was the Chinese sled. So unfortunately for Chi Jiangyu and Ding Yunda, didn't get a time, but they do at least look to be okay, if slightly shaken after their endeavours. Well, that's it for the first heat of the 2-man season. We'll be back again with Heat 2 at 14:30, and that is in 13 minutes' time. Barely time to flick the kettle on. We'll see you then.